Welcome to GTC Teaching Tidbits Blackboard Ultra. In this series, each episode we focus on tips, techniques, practices, ideas to expand your knowledge of and comfort with using Blackboard Ultra. I'm joined today by Rebecca Roth from the Curriculum and Instructional Support Center, CISC. Welcome, Rebecca.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Always a pleasure. We really appreciate Lee and Rebecca continuing to do these update episodes. In our previous episode for September, Rebecca did give us a little sneak peek into some of the updates that were coming for October. And so she's here today to do a deeper dive into those October 2023 updates. So Rebecca, I'm going to turn it over to you to share about these updates, and I'm very excited to hear what they are.
All right, so I am Rebecca Roth. As Rachel said, I'm from the CISC team. I work closely with Lee and the other members of our team, and today I'm going to go over the updates for October. So we have a lot of exciting updates that have come out in October, some of which we have been waiting for since the transition to Ultra. So primarily the send reminder is here. We are so excited about this. So we have a few updates for Safe Assign, the send reminder, some comments. The ones in bold are the ones I'll be going over today. So today I'll go over copying the grading schemas, sorting controls, and then a last access course alert. Anything that you see that I don't go over, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to go over these at an individual level. And then toward the end, I will give a sneak peek for what's coming in November. So the first one we have is our Safe Assign Direct Submit option. This is something that we had in original, and I know I, for one, in teaching English, I used it constantly, where I can upload or copy and paste a text submission into the Safe Assign for it to be reviewed for plagiarism check or cheating check. So now you have the option to, again, to upload that file. So this is great for when a student may have to email a file to you or they submit it. Most recently, I had a student submit via Google Doc, they were an early college student. So I was able to then move that file over and submit it through Safe Assign. So the other is the copy and paste option. So this is really great, again, for those journal submissions, or if they just type their submission in, you can copy and paste that text to check it. And again, you use this as you see fit. Again, there's still the automatic check that Blackboard, that you have that option in Blackboard. So here's where you would upload that file, and then you can see here where you can submit that text. It's very similar to what we saw back in Original if you were someone who used this feature pretty often in Blackboard Original. So it was a great one. Like I said, I used it a lot. So I'm very happy to see that it's back. Once you have that uploaded, you'll see where it is processing. Again, this is very similar to what we had in the past, where then once it has processed, it will show you the list of submissions that you have added. So this is the list of your direct submissions. So either an uploaded file or a copy and pasted file. And then it processes through the report and gives you a matching percentage. And then from there, you can click on it and do with it what you will. All right, so finally, cue the fireworks. We now have the send reminder option in Blackboard, both in the list view and the grid view. You can choose to send a reminder, and this will go to any student who has not submitted that particular assignment. There is a hiccup, I will warn you guys. Right now, when you click on the send reminder option, if you are choosing to do that for a third-party tool, the alert here will tell you the entire list. Like if you have, in this case, 13 students in your course, it will tell you that it's emailing all 13 students, but the reality is it will only email the ones who have not submitted. Again, that's the hiccup for the third party. Now, if it's just a Blackboard assignment, it will tell you the accurate number of students who are being emailed here. So if you're sending the reminder email using McGraw-Hill or Hawks or Cengage, any of those, again, just keep that in mind. Blackboard is aware of it. They're working on this little pop-up to give you the accurate number. So don't just be aware of that. And then two, one thing I do want to point out, because this has come up a few times already with the course messaging, with the reminders now, that when you automatically send an email to a student from this gradebook area, so either the grid view or the list view, if you select several students and email them, it will go in as a blind copy. However, if you're typing those students' names in individually, that's when it's not a blind copy. So just to confirm, when you send the reminder, it will send it as a blind copy to the student, so they do not see who else has not completed that assignment. This is something that has come up. We have seen some questions about, specifically with course messages. So anytime that you send an email a course message or a reminder to your students from the gradebook, so from the when you see that list of students and you select a few of the students, it will be a blind copy. When you send an announcement or a message to students and you individually add them, it will not be a blind copy. They will see who else receives that message. So just keep that in mind, that usually it is best to send from the gradebook so that you can assure that it is the BCC. Okay, so the rest of these are a few less exciting, not less exciting, still good, but not quite as exciting as the reminders update. So they've added some sorting controls for your manually graded items. So these are the ones where you add that in. Previously, they did not have the sorting controls across the top when you're looking at that list of students. So now you do have that as an option. You can also now copy a grading schema from one course to another. So this is great for those of you who are teaching at a 7-point grading scale and you're running your copy. The way that we have it set currently is that a lot of times courses will default to the 10-point grading schema. So you can adjust this, or if you're using like a pass-fail or any other type of grading schema. Again, the approved overall grading schemas for Greenville Tech are the 7-point and the 10-point scales. So you can do that copy to copy there. So that's great. And that is, you follow the same process as copying anything else. So copying an item, start at the course level, navigate down to the grading schema. This last one is one that is in the process of, it's something that has come out, but we are in the process of making it work best for Greenville Tech specifically. Currently, the way that this last access alert is set is that once a student has been inactive for 15 consecutive days, they will receive an alert. This is at the Blackboard level. We have asked Blackboard for a way to adjust this number down to possibly a 10, or at least to have it within our control. And then we will work with the deans to determine at what day that alert comes out. Unfortunately, right now we can't change it. So, but we have several colleges and universities are making their opinions known loudly. So it is in the works to get that where we can change that number. But once it is changed, it is another awesome way to for us to check student access, student engagement, and hopefully affect their grades and their success. Oh, yeah, there's my little orange box to show that we're working on reducing it down. Okay. So those were the primary October release updates that will affect you directly, and there are some coming in November that are actually equally as exciting. The first is that in November they will add an image editor option to the rich text editor in Blackboard Ultra. So when you're building those documents, the Ultra documents, Now, as it stands, you have to click the little plus button and then you insert the image that way. Now you'll have an image insert option. And then once that image is in the rich text editor, you are able to adjust that image from within that editor. You don't have to worry about punching in the size, the pixel size or the image size. You can adjust it with click and drag. There will also be a late submission indicator on the student's submission receipt, which is really great to again, for documentation there. If you use journals, they are going to add a little bit better navigation for the tab navigation with journals, where you can see the journal assignment, the journal entry, and then the grades, much like we can in test grading and discussion grading. There's a few other here. I'm not going to read through all of them. One that I'm excited about is the tabs in the file-based submission. So this is when a student submits, for example, Microsoft Word, an essay, and you can easily now coming in November, you'll easily be able to navigate between that assignment information and kind of toggle between the submission and then the assignment information. Some other ones, some more sorting controls are coming, and then just some overall performance improvements with the grid view and editing your questions and your grades. So if you have any questions, reach out.
Great. Thank you, Rebecca. I'm so excited about especially, again, those first two. I've been really, I've been missing that send reminder in the gradebook. That I used that heavily,
right.
As a way to a couple days before assignments were due, or, in my COL 111 class, maybe Friday afternoon, Saturday, I'd be just sending that reminder as a little nudge, so to speak, without having to send a whole bunch of individual messages. So I'm excited to see that feature back. And actually, I taught speech classes and I used that direct submit for Safe Assign quite a bit as well. So it's exciting to see that that is also back and available. I was kind of sad when we were transitioning the Teaching with Blackboard over. We always emphasized Safe Assign and also that direct submit. We had to take that out. And now I'm excited that we get to add that back in for those things where, we're kind of wondering what, and we didn't have Safe Assign turned on, or again, it's a journal or something. That's going to be an incredibly helpful feature. And of course, the other features, while we're maybe not just jumping for joy about our additional features, I think that we just continue to see there's improvements in helping us navigate efficiently in Blackboard and our courses. So thank you for sharing those updates. And I know people are going to be really excited, especially when they see those first two show up. And when we get this episode out there, if they haven't discovered it already, hopefully this episode will get everybody focused in on, hey, look, it's here finally. I think those are two that we might not readily notice unless we're actively looking for them. So this episode's coming at a perfect time.
Yes, I agree. Oh, yeah.
Well, as always, Lee and Rebecca invite you to reach out if you want to continue the conversation, if you have questions, you need assistance, if you want to do a deeper dive into any of the things highlighted, you are more than welcome to reach out. I've got Lee and Rebecca's emails here on the screen. It's lee.mcminn@gvltec.edu and rebecca.roth@gvltec.edu. And of course, if you want to reach out to CISC in general, you can reach out to their email, ciscstaff@gvltec.edu. And someone from their team will reach out and connect with you and get your questions answered, etc. And they're really great and timely about doing that or connecting you with the resource that you need. So please reach out to them. If there are other things you'd like us to see do a deeper dive with this series, we've been primarily doing update episodes, but we certainly also want to provide some deep dives into certain tools. So please reach out and let us know what those tools are that you'd really like to see us focus on, maybe an intensive tutorial, 5 to 15 minute. Let us know and we will get those arranged for you, add those to the series. Well, that's this month's GTC Teaching Tidbits Blackboard Ultra, and we will see you next time.